Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from beautiful Costa Rica. Today's topic is going to be narcissistic relationship, why you stayed so long. Think about that for a minute. Guys, if you like the content, please subscribe. So this is a question that is asked so many times when the ending of the relationship happens. People ask you, like, why did you stay in the relationship so long? Like, what's wrong with you? What were you thinking? I wouldn't have done that. You should have left earlier. You should have left sooner. Like, why didn't you leave? Things like that. People will ask you that. Now, many times when they ask you these questions or make these statements, of course, they don't know that you were dealing with a narcissist, so and most likely they haven't had the same experience, so they can't put themselves in your shoes. They just think that you were in a healthy or stable relationship with an individual who turned out to be a narcissist. So, unfortunately, you do hear these comments frequently post-ending of the narcissistic relationship, but the point is you do know why you stayed in the relationship so long. And I'll give you many examples of why or how you stayed in so long in the relationship. And here we go. So if it was a romantic relationship, let's say you were married. Well, when you married this individual who turned out to be a narcissist, you didn't know they were a narcissist. Otherwise, you wouldn't have married them because you didn't have the education on the narcissistic abusive cycle. But most importantly, I am certain after that wedding ring was on their finger, they shifted gears and they began to show you a little bit more of who they were. In other words, you experienced the devaluation stage sooner because now they had the license to abuse you. When, in other words, the wedding ceremony was just a formality to them. Now they have their permanent source of supply until the relationship ended. But on the exterior to everybody else, oh wow, what a beautiful, loving couple you guys are and how great you look and things like that. But behind closed doors, it was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So that's one reason. Or one example. Another example would be it's a workplace. Your boss or coworker is a narcissist. You didn't know this, but you stayed in the workplace relationship or the job. Why? Well, because you need money and you need to work. And maybe it's your passion, maybe it's your livelihood, it's what you love to do. And this person, let's say it's the boss, they kept on asking you to work weekends or holidays or during your birthday or put in overtime without being compensated. They promised you silver packages, meaning like they would give you a pay raise or a corner office or the trip to Tahiti, etc. These things never happened because they were just dangling the carrot in front of you, getting you to work harder and longer. And these promises were nothing but empty promises and broken dreams. And most likely why you left that relationship left that is because it was a business and you couldn't stand the day-to-day toxic environment of the business and or being around the negative energy of the narcissist who turned out to be your boss. So again, the prerequisite for all of this, for all these examples, are that you didn't know about narcissism. You certainly didn't know about the narcissistic abusive cycle or that it would affect you for a period of time, which was the length of your relationship with any of these examples. Another example would be it's a sibling, brother, sister, whoever it is. And you weren't quite treated the same from when you were a kid up until adulthood. And this person who turns out to be your sibling and the narcissist, they're surrounded by drama and chaos, confusion. It's always about them. It's never about you. They just want to complain to you and vent and tell you how you have it so much better, or you got all the love and respect as a child and they got nothing, which is completely the opposite. But you didn't want to give up on them. Excuse me. You didn't want to end that relationship because they're your sibling and you love them or loved them, but you cared about them. And now here you are after years of abuse and years of being portrayed as the bad person or as someone that has all these great things when in fact you had to work hard to get where you are. And this person, your sibling who turned out to be a narcissist, they were the golden child and they were spoon-fed everything, but they just did what they usually do, is just took it for granted and abused their parents or abused whoever they possibly could and felt entitled. Hope you followed that one. Another example could be a friend, lifelong friend, or maybe someone you met a couple months ago. You're spending time with this person, things are going well, everything's fine, and you notice that, let's say this is a long-term relationship, and everything's going fine, but as time passes, you understand that this person is reaching out to you less and less. However, they're reaching out to you when they need something, not when you want something, it's when they need something. So you become their pseudo-therapist or pseudo-sounding board, a person that they can vent to. And you're asked to give them rides to the airport, maybe loan them appliances, like the lawnmower, things like that. And this is not reciprocated. In other words, let's say using the lawnmower example, you loan them the lawnmower, and they don't return it for a couple days, weeks, maybe a summer. And you're like, what's going on here? Like, you can get your own. Like, but then slowly you realize that when you need help, or it's time for you to get a little attention, they're nowhere to be found. Because why? Because they're a narcissist, and that's probably why you stayed in that relationship for that length of time. It's the same thing. It's the same MO with most of these relationships of the examples I just gave you, because you don't know what you're dealing with, which I mentioned so frequently on this channel. For many of you, this will be the first video you ever watch on narcissistic abuse and the narcissistic abusive cycle. And maybe it resonates with you. Maybe you're saying, yes, wow, I fell in love with this person, and they portrayed themselves to be this amazing individual who cared about me and loved me and wanted to grow old with me and things like that. But the more I got to know them, the more the mask slipped, and they wanted to take me down. They wanted to steal my identity. They wanted to take all my resources. They wanted to just decimate me. But they didn't portray that in the beginning, otherwise I wouldn't have pursued the relationship with them. You see, so when people ask you, why did you stay in the relationship so long? It's so easy to see, like, couldn't you just remove yourself from it? No, you can't. It's not that simple. There's no magic pill. You can't wave a wand and all of a sudden, boom, you're out of the relationship. Heck, you can't even do that in a healthy relationship. It's not that easy. Yes, it's easier to remove yourself from a healthy relationship, absolutely. No doubt about it, not even a question. However, when you're in a narcissistic relationship, it's very, very difficult. There's an energy level there, a negative energy. There's a drawing back to the narcissist. There's a wondering what if you did anything wrong, if you could have improved, if you tried hard enough, if you gave. We know the answers now. The answers are that you were manipulated, you were taken advantage of, you were duped, tricked, trapped, and manipulated. The narcissist saw your beauty. They saw everything that you possess, which I mention on the channel frequently. Your energy, your love, your empathy, your time, all of the things that are intangible. Notice this, all the things that you have for free. Really understand this part of the message. The best things in life are free, and the most valuable things in life are free. It's the things that cost money that people value more, however. Example, air, oxygen, it's free. It's beautiful, you need it to survive, right? But you kind of take it for granted, don't you? Same thing with your time. At times, you take your time for granted. Like this is before you post-narcissistic relationship. Same thing with love, empathy, the ability to forgive, the ability to just be with somebody, your family. These things they all came to you for free. And what is free, mankind, humankind usually takes for granted, and they don't appreciate it as much as they should. It's a fact. If you really think about what I'm telling you now in this part of the message, it's 100% accurate. Now flip the coin. The things that cost money, they're the things that are actually valued on this planet called Earth. Example, a car, a house, a boat, a smartphone, clothes, things like that. That's what people really value. Why? Because most people on the planet, they kind of, I wouldn't say most, a lot of people on the planet, they like to act like they're one person, that they're better than other people, or they just like the finer things. Let's put it that way. There's nothing wrong with liking the finer things at all. Absolutely not. If you work if you have the ability to purchase them. But the finer let's put it this way, anything you can buy with money, it should not be respected more than anything you get for free. Play that again. That's a fact. It's how I stand by it. I won't change my mind. Because anything that you paid for with money, example, let's say a car, make it easy. Well, the car can be replaced. If the car, it can always be replaced, but you have to buy a new one. But however, let's say you are in a relationship with an individual, let's say you're in love with somebody, and let's say the relationship ends, that's not going to be replaced. That's gone. And it's the same thing with relationships in general. So everything that in life that is for free, really pay attention to this part of the message. Those are the things that should be cherished, like spending time with loved ones, like giving of yourself without expecting anything in return, things like that. So getting back on track and I'll do a whole video on that actually. Getting back on track, when people ask you, well, when you think to yourself, why did I stay in it so long? It's because you didn't know. And perhaps you thought you could work harder and change the narcissist, or that things would change, things would improve, or that they would finally see the light, that they're detrimental and they're not helping you, and what they're doing is actually crushing the relationship. You see, you are an empath most likely. You are an empath most likely if you're on the channel. And again, thank you very much for being here. But one thing you are is you are persistent. and you're strong and you're courageous and you're determined, and you didn't want to give up on this person who turned out to be a narcissist. Again, it could have been the workplace, sibling, mom, dad, lover, neighbor, friend, whomever. But you didn't know about narcissism. Now you do. And your core instincts told you to not quit or give up on this person or the relationship. Another example why you stayed in it so long. Let's say again you got married. Well, when you took the marriage vows, you took them thinking the marriage was about one thing, which most likely was about your religious beliefs, whatever they are. And you said, okay, this is the person for me. I waited a long time, or I waited to get married, and I did so, and here I am. The narcissist didn't do that. The narcissist, first of all, they get married multiple times, often, not always, but many times. It's more than a couple times. And on top of that, their vows were, like I said, they didn't mean the same thing they meant to you. So when you were in that, let's say you were in that marriage, you were believing that your core values of your childhood or upbringing were going to be instilled upon that marriage with this individual. They weren't. And you kept trying to have that happen, and they kept not helping you out. They kept making you work harder for the relationship, thus taking away from all your resources. So guys, before I close the video, I just want to let you know that why you stayed in a relationship so long. You know why you did it, and I know for a fact you do. And there's no fault, there's no blame. You did the best you could, I'm certain of it. And unfortunately, you were with a narcissist, and these relationships all have an expiration date. They all end with a thud, a crash, a bang. They don't end harmoniously. They end with the mask falling, and many times people being discarded or being treated very, very poorly, and I'm being nice about that. Guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it. From beautiful Costa Rica, this is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon. Stay true, stay blessed. Continue to become awakened and aware. And understand, like, when people ask you, hey, why did you stay in it so long? Like, most of the time they mean well. They really do. They're not trying to cause harm or trigger you. There are some people that do that, but not many. So they just don't have the education. They didn't go through the narcissistic abusive cycle the way you did. So they can't wrap their head around it. Guys, no matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I hope you love the birds in the tree, because the birds are going bananas today. God bless you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.